Today I've got something a little different. You may have seen my video from a while back on this little guy. It was actually my second ever video on the channel. If you haven't seen it, be sure to go check it out after watching this one. But this is a 1960s toy car that is remote controlled, although it would originally have a tethered remote. But I have retrofitted it with modern electronics from an off-the-shelf RC car that I got from Target. So it is a 60s toy that is radio controlled. And this car is a 1958 Ford Fairlane Skyliner, which the Skyliners were retractable hardtops. They were the first ever retractable hardtops, actually. The hardtop had a motorized mechanism that would bring it down into the trunk. And this model recreates that. And that's the main cool feature of this toy, as well as being drivable. But although I wanted to reference that one because I did the video on it already, this video is not about that Fairlane. It's about this Thunderbird. Yep, I did it again. I got another one of these, but this time it is a 1961 Ford Thunderbird. The bullet bird body style, my favorite. But unlike the Fairlane Skyliner, this one is supposed to represent a motorized soft top. The Thunderbirds didn't come with a retractable hardtop. And just like its sister over there, I've done the radio control conversion. Same electronics, just like that one. It's just a different car. Now, I know what you may be thinking, and I want to throw this out. I am not trying to super modify them from their original condition. Nothing was cut up. Everything on the inside is original, the way it would operate. It just has that circuit board stuck in there with the wires going to the original motor and a servo connected to the front steering with a paper clip. And I didn't cut the tethered remote off. I got both of these cars from eBay in as-is, not working condition, with the tethered remotes missing or in unusable condition. The Fairlanes was missing altogether. This one, I got the remote, but it was too beat up to be used. So, just wanted to make that clear. I did not get the most pristine, new in the box, perfect condition one of these and cut the remote off to do this. But with that out of the way, I want to give you a tour of the car and show you how it works. And I didn't do it in the Fairlane video, but I'm actually going to remove the body shell and show you how the insides work, including the top mechanism and how it changes between the top operation and drive. So, without further ado, let's get started. So again, I did not modify the car in any way, except for cut the holes for the switch. That is the only thing that I did. And other than that, it looks completely stock otherwise. Although in this particular car's case, the Thunderbird, I did want to add a little bit of detail, so I used a silver Sharpie to draw all of the chrome trim, because otherwise it was painted all red, which is boring, so I wanted to make it pop a little bit. Now, the way this car operates and changes between operating modes, on the remote, there are only forward and reverse buttons and steering. Now, on the tethered remote, it would actually be a metal cable. Again, now it's operated by servo. But what you would do to change between operating the top or the drive line is come over to the back and you'll locate this little knob on the back, and when you pull it out, the car is in drive mode, and when you push it in, the forward and reverse buttons will raise or lower the top respectively. So I'll take her apart and I'll show you how all of that works on the inside. First we've got to get the top down because it won't come off when it's up. Next we're going to flip it over, and there's a screw right here and right here, and we're going to remove those both. And now we'll carefully work it apart. Just like any other tin plate toy of its time, there are these metal tabs you gotta be mindful of. They still kind of hold the frame and the body together even without the screws in. We'll just slowly work it apart. Now you can see that's loose, but one thing I always forget about is you got to make sure the top goes under the interior insert. And work it around. It's a little finicky. There we go. And just like that. And look how ugly it is without that body on. But here's what the inside looks like on one of these things. It's pretty well engineered, so let me go over how it works. You can see the top here is connected to this long rail going across here. And when you move the top, that whole bar comes forward, and this top basically rides on this rail here. And that's what manipulates the top as it comes up, makes it pivot back and lock into the windshield properly. So I'll go ahead and raise it up so we can see it all in action. There we go. You can see the rail comes all the way to the front of the car even. Now if we look on the other side here, first of all you'll see that's where the electronics from the donor car lie. I can't remember what it came out of, but it has an internal rechargeable battery. It has proportional throttle and proportional steering with that servo. There you can see the servo linked, again, with a paper clip to the original steering mechanism. And then the wire that is for the motor just goes to that original motor from the car itself, which is down up in there. There, you can see it in there. It's hard to see, but it's in there. And that's where we get to over here, and this is where all of the magic happens. This gear right here is the output of the motor. You can see that it is on a pivoting mechanism. If I pull the knob out from the back, you can see how it moves back and forth. These gears go to the top. This is the output, the top mechanism I should say, and these gears back here go to the rear axle. So if you ever wondered, there you have it. That's how one of these things work on the inside. It was pretty well engineered, really clever. And again, I'll say it, nothing was modified to make it radio controlled. I pretty much just stuck this in here, wired it to the motor, hooked it up to the steering, and I did have to cut the hole for the power switch out the bottom and the charging port, as you can see. And I also stuck some labels on there just for fun. But other than that, it's a completely stock toy like it was. So I hope you enjoyed having an inside look at one of these things and how they operate. Now let's put it back together and go drive it around. Alright, so first Let's turn the car on. Flip the switch. Then we'll come over to our remote, turn it on. It's paired. Now, one interesting thing about this remote and how it came with its original car, there are 3 speeds. So depending on which speed you're in, it alters how much voltage it gives the motor. So it's not really helpful for this thing. I drive it in the highest speed and operate the top in the lowest or middle speed for more realistic looking operation, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's got 3 different motor speeds. I got steering trim on the remote, so pretty sick for this thing. But let's give her a spin. And another great thing about the control systems that I put in them is they are 2.4 gigahertz, which means I can drive them at the same time. Or at least to the best of my ability. Of course, one person could drive each, but I'm by myself today. Yeah, that's enough of that. It's way harder than it looks. But with that, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed having a look at these interesting little toys of the past that I have customized and modified and given a new life with modern components. They are a lot of fun to drive, and honestly, they drive like a modern RC car, and with that remote in your hand, you can quickly forget that they're over 50 years old. But they are a lot of fun, and I just wanted to show them off and share a piece of history. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like, and I want to thank you for watching, and have a nice day.